Change is inevitable. In this world where pandemic, pollution, and poverty are at peak of everyone's awareness, climate change seems to be out of their priority. Climate change, as we all are aware of, is the shifting weather patterns that threaten sea levels, increases the risk of catastrophic flooding, and even endangers food production due to inclement changing weather patterns.
What's worse is, climate change is a man-made thing which can be scary to think about. On this platform, we will focus on the connection of the humans to the speeding up of the warming of Earth or the contributions of humans to the effects of climate change.
Continuous burning of fossil fuels which is the primary contributor of climate change, which without a doubt a person has access to. The electricity you use to lighten up your home, the fuel you use to power up your car, cutting trees, and peaceful forests. These activities are all speeding up the effects of climate change.
So let us all raise our movement, because nothing but right now is the time to act. If we fail to address these risks, the results will be irreversible. We in this country have suffered recently a lot of environment threats. Let us all calibrate ourselves and arm us with knowledge before the enchanting word of climate change turns our world into having a killer weather, a world underwater, or an earth on fire.
Greetings to you audience and to our panels today. A pleasant day to everyone. Our team is here today to present your study about the human activities that contribute to climate change. As a starter, let's hear everyone give their presentation about our topic today.
Global climate change poses as one of the most prominent threats facing humanity at this moment. Without a doubt, humans and their activities are one of the factors contributing to the continuous warming humans are experiencing today. A study conducted by American sociologists says that human activities lead to climate change through the use of products and resources that lead directly and indirectly to the production of fossil fuels and other biophysical changes that modify the climate, especially that humans are so fond of burning fossil fuels, which is the main criteria in order to further produce greenhouse gases. The fuel you use to power up your house, your vehicles, homes, and companies are one of the primary causes causing the world to have diverse effect of the destructive climate change. It is important, therefore, for those of us who have the access to extend the information about the impending effects of climate change to those who are unaware of its capability. Now, this sums up our introduction for our topic. Now, let us hear Mr. Navarro to guide and present us to our background of study of our topic.
There is no doubt that climate change is relevant and evident. Climate change starts with the phenomenon of global warming, which is defined as the increase of the Earth's temperature that modifies the weather and ecosystems for a long time, which is connected to the greenhouse effect that may worsen. The effects of climate change are and will be catastrophic that will cause a domino effect to us humans, animals, and nature itself. As per recorded data and observation of NASA and Earth, there are numerous information about our planet's climate for many years and how its temperature is continuously increasing. According to NASA, The Earth's ability of trapping carbon dioxide and other gases allows the transfer of infrared energy through the atmosphere, which increases the levels of greenhouse gases that causes our planet to warm up. The increasing rate of human population allows ourselves to become selfish and greedy with our actions, not knowing the further effect or harm that we may bring in our own planet. We would want people to appreciate the single planet that we are living in and realize how we are already destroying it because of our greediness and selfish needs. If people are aware of the things that are already happening in our planet, we believe that it may lessen the effect of the natural phenomenon that we humans are facing in this generation, climate change. Now, let us move on to the preliminary literature review with Ms. Sarmiento.
The effects of climate change for a particular location or precise point in a time are uncertain. It is clear that impacts around the globe will be dramatic. Temperature increases are not the only manifestation. There has already been an increase in the number of droughts, as well as severe weather events worldwide. Disasters nowadays are becoming worse and deadlier compared to the past decades. Such typhoons, floods, volcanic eruption, wildfires, landslides, and tornadoes. Filipinos shows off traditional and cultural coping mechanisms. Practices are often conveyed in the expression Bahala na. Manila, Quezon, Iloilo, Pasay, Cebu, Davao, and Bacolod at 1.5 degrees Celsius induced global warming and 3.20 meters median of globe sea level rise would be submerged in 2.08 million people. That's a lot. Human activity is disrupting the ocean's capacity to regulate climate effectively. So global mean surface temperature have risen roughly 0.06 degrees Celsius or 1 degrees Fahrenheit. The intensity and frequency of coral bleaching has increased significantly over the past 30 years, causing death and severe damage to 1/3 of the world's corals. In 1998 to 1999, when Philippines encountered and felt the worst scenario, Northern Luzon and West Palawan and the Visayas and parts of Mindanao were affected. Such a worse events. When people burn fossil fuels, it puts a lot of stress in the ocean, which damages its ability to keep the climate stable. So sometimes the oceans release too much heat or moisture into the system, sometimes too little. Came from the page 13, Ballast, Switzerland, volume 2015. And the Philippines is one of the most severely deforested countries in the tropics and lasted from 40 years till then. So estimated place forest cover in the Philippines in the year 1900 over 21 million hectares, covering 70% of the total land area. Forests covering 5.5 million hectares our primary forest was only 800,000 hectares. Continuous illegal logging endangered the remaining forests. The melting of ice in the glacial regions will result in a sea rise level, and lowland will eventually be erased on the world's map. Probably. Maybe in some times. According to a study carried out by the International Commission for Snow and Ice, snow in the Himalayas will be disappear by 2035. If no proper initiative is taken to reduce warming, some other glaciers of Nepal were also studied by Mool et al. 2001 and Borkaria et al. 2007. So more subtle effects in psychological and behavioral characteristics have also been documented. Came from the Pickle et al. 2017. Another one is human perceptions. Behavior and well-being are clearly implicated as contributors to and or consequences of climate change. One of the most publicly contested aspects of climate change is the extent to which it is consequence of human behavior, according to Liseroth and Mabeck, Rosarinoff and Rosato and Cutler, 2017.
For the statement of the problem, the concept paper seeks to achieve its general objective between the human activities and climate change by focusing on the following specific objectives. First is to determine the primary contributors to the climate change. Second, to determine the activities and contributions of humans to the destruction of the environment. Third, to assess the changes happening in the environment and what consequences might occur. Last, to establish certain strategies and resiliency in order to lessen the impacts of climate change.
The researchers used the Coronational Approach in the study in order to determine the relationship between the human activities and climate change. With this approach, the researchers will be able to find the common activities that humans do that contribute to the climate change. The population of the respondents is the people that ages from 18 years old to 13 years old. Through the use of voluntary sampling, the researchers will conduct a questionnaire and survey through Google Forms to reach the farthest of respondents until we reach the quota of the sample, which is 150 respondents. The questionnaires will be answerable by yes or no, and through these questionnaires, the researchers will be able to come up with a solution and spread it across the internet. The researchers firmly believe that through internet, information will be spread fast and can reach farthest of people.
And that concludes our study between the connection of climate change and the human activities. Thank you. Any suggestions, inquiries, and questions from the panels are now encouraged.
That was a great presentation. I just want to address this question to Mr. Navarro. What is the main purpose of your presentation?
The main purpose of our presentation is to aware and inform everyone about the biggest threat that we will be facing in this generation and how this will affect our daily lives and our way of living. The researchers would want people to realize the wrongdoings that are already damaging and hurting our own planet. If this continues, there will be a great chance that Mother Nature herself will give up on us, and this will cause a catastrophe to everyone, to us humans, plants, and animals. By telling the purpose of our presentation, the researchers would like to tell everyone the little things that they can do to help minimize creating and enlarging this catastrophe. The researchers want people to realize that it is not too late to change and help save our beloved planet, the only planet that we are living in, Earth.
Thank you for that, Mr. Navarro.
Thank you for that, Mr. Lane. This is my question for Whip. What is your motivation for doing the paper?
As we all are aware of, climate change has the capacity to alter our world's movement, and because of its salient effect, that destroys not only the environment but also those who live in it. Our goal is to give knowledge to those who are unaware of its capability, as well as to give information on how much human can contribute on making the climate change more catastrophic, especially that our weather patterns are getting more strange each day, and our country itself has experienced the rot environment gives. These reasons is what I believe motivated us to work on this project, to give this knowledge and strategies on how we can help and make less of the climate change effect. This project motivated us to give proper warning and information to those people who wants to be the center and wants a resiliency to the change.
Yes, I do have a question. May I ask, what are your salient points?
Thank you for that, Mr. Navarro. Humans are the primary contributors in climate change. Human activities that led to alteration of climate change. By that research, the possible consequence and results of these behaviors of humans are focused on the activities of human species, psychological and well-being, on what and why are they doing it. Wrongdoings and selfishness, that's why climate is changing, that turns out to be worse.
How about your ways on how did you gather these details?
Just like what I said earlier, we use the internet, specifically Google Forms, to conduct the research. We use the voluntary sampling in order to get the reliable answers from the people who are confident in voicing out their opinion. We use the internet to reach the farthest of respondents in order to gain or to able to meet the quota fast.
Do you think your study will contribute to the society, to the people? Further explain, please.
One of the goals of our study is to determine the primary contributors to the climate change as well as the contributions of human activities on climate change. Thus, if people know that their activities is helping and triggering the catastrophic impact of climate change, they can at least calibrate their acts and ways and help to maintain the health of the environment. One more goal is to assess the changes happening in the environment. It is to prepare the society or to give awareness on how it can affect our lives, our environment, and our home. Through this, we can also give strategies and resiliency to every family to lessen the impacts when climate change effects occur. These aspects is what I believe made this project significant to the society.
So while conducting this research, what limitations have you encountered in the study and how did you address it?
The limitations that we set in our study are the sample population of 150 participants that are aged between 18 to 30 years old. They may be students, employed and unemployed people to identify the common doings that they practice that can cause climate change. We also chose people that we know that are in different locations here in the Philippines until the quota will be accomplished. We also set our questionnaires to be answered with yes or no and strongly agree to strongly disagree only. We chose participants that have internet connections since we are only doing the survey online because of its conveniency and since we are doing it in multiple places. We also believe that the answers that we receive are true since before answering the survey we also added a letter that tells the participants to swear that they will only answer the truth only.
And as a group, what recommendations did you conclude in order to resolve your issue? This is your last chance to prove and convince us.
Through the internet, we will spread awareness that these common activities that we humans do contributes too much on creating climate change. We will also recommend some alternative activities that is safe for the environment while doing the same task but through different methods. The researchers will also advocate to lessen these activities that contributes to climate change.
That's all. Thank you for that and congrats. We can now leave the meeting. Thank you, Mom.